With all the controversy caused earlier in the year by Elon Musk emailing his employees to return to office or depart Tesla and the subsequent backlash from Scott Farquhar, it seems that the ongoing debate about working from home versus the office is far from over. So now seems like a good time to discuss the subject of office lights and the impact it can have on people working under them. Of course, for some of us it would be nice to have any lights at all. For many years, a suspended ceiling was the way forward for an office space, and it does have numerous advantages. Using them, however, led to the rise of direct lighting, usually in the form of a 600 by 600 or 600 by 1200 fitting that just dropped into the ceiling grid. Direct lighting is where the light fitting points down and illuminates what's below it. Now that's great at work plane level, however the spaces and the light we work in are three-dimensional, and the upper portion of a room were by consequence quite dark and gave many offices a kind of cave-like feeling, and also led to poor uniformity in some cases, with some areas overlit and others underlit. However, in recent years we've seen a change in style for many office spaces and even classrooms where the ceiling is simply the soffit or underside of the concrete floor above. To reduce the unpleasant echoing that this would normally produce, panels of acoustic absorbing material are installed and suspended light fittings are used. But why suspended instead of fixed to the concrete ceiling? Well, this allows for electricians to make use of what's called direct and indirect lighting, and the principle is perfectly exemplified in this Horizon fitting from Robus. It's a really sleek, modern, minimalist fitting that would look as home in a modern office as it would a classroom, and it comes with two types of reflector, as you can see here. One is this prismatic version and the other is a low glare version with these metallic diffusers that offers a unified glare rating, or UGR, of less than 19, making it perfect for all educational spaces in school buildings, as well as other applications where reduced glare can make for a more comfortable working environment, such as offices and similar. The fittings can be interlinked, up to 30 fittings for the prismatic version, which gives you a run of 42 meters, and the UGR version can have 45 fittings linked in a run, which gives you a length of 63 meters. This allows for connections to be made at one end of a run so that you don't need to get a separate cable out to the other end. When it comes to linking the fittings together, a lot of thought has gone into making the process as quick and as easy as possible. We've got two fittings here that we're going to join together, and the first thing to do is to remove the little rubber bungs from these four holes. Then we undo the screws that fix the end caps on, so that's the screws on the top here, and then there's ones inside here accessed via the little holes that were revealed a moment ago. Once they're undone, the end caps can be slid out, and we get to see one of the really great features of this joining process. Inside the ends of the fittings are these little plug and socket connectors. Removing the caps from these, we can then clip them into each other, and the fittings are now electrically connected to each other. Now we get the joining bracket and introduce it into the ends of the fitting, and it's just a matter of aligning this with both ends of the fittings and then sliding those together. Once you've butted the joint up, we do up the four screws in the base of the bracket via the terminal access plates to lock it into place, and then replace the bungs. Then it's just a matter of clipping on these little black plates that conceal the joint, thus maintaining that sleek, professional look, and jobs are good 'un. Now, as the Horizon fittings stand, they will provide direct lighting, as we described earlier, where the light shines down from the fitting to the surfaces to be illuminated, and they can even be mounted directly to a surface. However, if you want to create a truly well-lit space that feels light and airy with good uniformity, then you want to get some direct, indirect light going on. Indirect lighting is where you shine light up against the ceiling and it then reflects down to the surfaces to be illuminated. This removes the issue of a darkened space at the top of the room and generally improves uniformity as the light is diffused more effectively. However, the efficiency of the design will be reduced as some of the light is absorbed by the ceiling instead of being reflected. So the best solution for lighting an office or a classroom is to use both of these methods in the combined direct-indirect fashion. The Robus Horizon starts life as just a direct light fitting, but it has the option to add on this extra accessory that's basically an LED strip light to the top of the fitting, and it literally couldn't be easier to fit. You just remove this little cap here, revealing 3 pins, and then the additional fitting just goes onto those 3 pins and then clips in just like this. And if we ask my glamorous assistant to power it up, there you go, you've now got both up and down light from the same fitting, giving you the option to have both direct and indirect lighting in the same space. That gives you all the associated benefits of each method while minimising the disadvantages as well. Some additional features of the fittings include on the top of the luminaire with the prismatic diffuser, there's a little switch here that allows you to change the colour temperature. You can switch it between a warm 3000 Kelvin, a cool 4000 Kelvin, and an almost daylight 5700 Kelvin, which will all have their application depending on the environment that it's being used in. It's worth noting though, there's a warning label under here that tells us not to change the colour temperature of the fitting when it's on, and they've put 2 exclamation marks on here, so you know they're serious. The uplight accessory matches the fitting that it connects to. If you look closely at the 2 side by side here, you can see some key differences. This one has more LEDs on it than the other, and you can see that they're grouped in 2s and they're slightly different colours. One's sort of orangey and one of them is more yellow. This is because this strip is designed to be used on the prismatic fitting where you can change the colour temperature, and by having the 2 LEDs on and off in different combinations, it ensures that the colour of the light out of the top of the fitting matches the colour of the light out of the bottom, which is good because it would look awful otherwise. The other LED accessory also matches the 4000 Kelvin of the UGR fitting, and it's pretty important that you get the right accessory with the right fitting, as they won't be compatible with each other. The fittings also come with brackets that allow you to fix it directly to the ceiling, allowing for direct lighting only, and if you're going for the suspended option, then there's a separate suspension kit with a clever mechanism to allow you to get the fitting perfectly level, and this opens up the option for that direct indirect lighting that we've discussed. So all in all, a really nice fitting with some great accessories that means it's suitable for all kinds of applications. If you're interested in lighting, check out our free training packages in the description and our other videos right here. Thank you very much for watching.